Welcome to BigCountryPreps.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the countdown to two-a-days series, our daily look at an area football team and the key questions we're going to be answering about that team in our August 17th football preview here at Big Country Preps. I'm with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, we're talking about the Snyder Tigers.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a telling year for Snyder. They're coming off a really nice season after going 9-4 last year. Only returned 10 lettermen from that group, 5 offensive and 4 defensive starters. But they do have a 7-2-1 JV team they're getting call-ups from. So I think this is going to be an opportunity for them to kind of to show kind of where they stand in the terms of what the program that Westwood is building there. This is going to be a good opportunity to see if they can maybe keep some of those positive things going despite some heavy graduation losses.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do, with the promotions from a very good JV team. But 25 letterman loss a hit that they're taking there. They're going to have to replace some very good players: Bryce Ford, Jorge Oliveras, Kyler Teakle, Troy Botts. These are good ball players, and they're just going to have to replace them. We shall see what happens. But this is this is the test of a program. Once you start, gaining traction and reloading, you've arrived. And this is going to be one of those tests to see where Snyder's program is exactly at this point.
Yeah, and that to me is kind of the exciting part of it is they had a really like I said, kind of a breakout year last year, really the first year under Coach Westwood where you could kind of see everything they were trying to put together came together. And now it's an opportunity, I think, to kind of try to back that up with another strong year with a new group, a lot of new fresh faces on that varsity team. So I think they do have some challenges ahead, but I think it's going to be an exciting one for them. I think they've got an opportunity to, like you said, to kind of see where they stand as a program, and I think that's kind of fun from a observational standpoint, just to kind of see where they stand. Because obviously, I know that Westwood is not trying to build a team like he did last year; he's trying to build a program, and this is an opportunity, I think, for him to show that he's doing that.
They do have some bright spots. They've got Dylan Ainsley back at quarterback. They've got a couple of big bodies up front. Aiden Hernandez, a 285 pounder, is back. They've got Vance Martinez, a 260 pounder, up front. So they should be able to get a push. They're not going to be, small fries up front, and that's where it starts. So maybe that'll form the nucleus at that point.
And they do have some playmakers too. I mean, Dom Dominguez is a really nice playmaker, a guy that is going to really explosive player with the ball in his hands. I think he's going to get an opportunity to be even bigger part of what they do. And then they got some young guys. Danon Smith's a young sophomore running back who's a really talented kid. So it'll be interesting to see. And the big thing it'll be neat to see kind of where those call ups from that JV team kind of fit in and how quickly they can get accustomed to the varsity game. I think they've got an opportunity by district play to be playing pretty well. It's just a matter of kind of surviving that non-district schedule, and we'll go ahead and go through that schedule real quick. They've got a nice non-district schedule lined up. One that's not necessarily too challenging, but I think it's one that will get them ready for district. They start with a home game against Slayton on August 26th before going to Levelland on September 2nd. Follow that up with a home game against Canyon Randall, and then finish up their non-district slate at Monahans, at Big Spring, and then at home against Holiday. So some really nice matchups on that non-district slate.
I don't know that I like this district for the Big Country this year. If you're a rebuilding team, this is tough for both Sweetwater and Snyder. This is a tough group of teams for them to be hooking up with. That Middle and Greenwood on the road will be their district opener on October the 7th, at home against Graham on October 14th, and then a road trip at Wichita Falls Hershey on the 21st before being idle on the 28th. And then they face arch rival Sweetwater on November the 4th to close out the season. And I'll tell you, it's not unrealistic right now because of the rebuilding mode that Sweetwater and Snyder might find themselves in this year to be, pretty sizable underdogs throughout much of the district's slate. Greenwood is just flat out good. Graham, as we know, has been very solid for years, and Hershey was great last year. This is good.
Yeah,
this
Hershey's
been
great
for
several
us.
years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And so it's possible, it's conceivable that Sweetwater game, we want to talk about key games, the key game of the year could be their arch rival on November the 4th in their season finale. That might be for a playoff spot. That right there, a winner take all for the 4th seed. It's conceivable that could happen.
Yeah, it definitely could be. This is an interesting district because obviously it's only 5 teams, so 4 of the 5 are going to get into the playoffs. But I think this year, In some years, I agree with you. I think it would be a deal where those two are playing for fourth. This year, I think it's a little bit top heavy in that Graham is also rebuilding. So you've got Snyder, Sweetwater, and Graham all retooling in the same season. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see where each of those teams stand. But I agree with you that, I mean, Wichita Falls Hershey, that's a juggernaut right now. That's a really tough team to see added into your district. And then Greenwood's been a great program for a good while as well. So I think those three at the bottom are probably playing for those last two playoff spots. And like you said, it could come down to that last game between Sweetwater and Snyder to decide the fourth playoff spot. So a fun district, but yeah, it's going to be really tough at the top of that.
And with that, it's about time to wrap up tonight's edition of the Countdown to Two-A-Day series, the Snyder Tigers. But before we do that, we want to remind you we've got 3 separate subscription packages here at bigcountrypreps.com. We got a monthly for $5 a month. We got a semi-annual 6-month subscription where we knock that price down to $4 a month. And then we've got an annual 12-month subscription where we knock that price down to $3 a month. $36 for a full year of Big Country High School athletic coverage. And please keep in mind that even though we've got high inflation these days, we've kept our prices the same. We're running with the same set of prices that we did when we opened this back in 2018.
We'd also like to remind you one more time before we close out this episode of our Countdown series to once again be on the lookout for that August 17th preseason football preview. We're just going to have a ton of area football content. You'll definitely not want to miss that. In the meantime, thank you for joining us for this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Day series. And make sure you join us again tomorrow when we will be talking about the Sweetwater Mustangs here at bigcountrypreps.com.